Alright, welcome back to Single Player Party with the Kickstarter solo stuff that's out there right now. So this is what's new between last week and this week that I could find. And there was not many games. So usually on like a Tuesday, like today's 8:27, filming this, or 8:31, filming this at night, and should be live the next day on September 1st. So only a couple things popped up. Here on the screen I've got ThreeTale. It's a co-op game for 1 or 3 players. It's not for 2 or 4. So it's got a true solo mode. Looks like they're out of Bulgaria, and it's in euros. So it's struggling a little bit. It's got 13 days left, and so I'm assuming it's about halfway through its campaign. It has not reached half its money. So this one may not fund, but it's one to keep your eye on because I think they could maybe cancel this one and then relaunch it. First created, 8 backed. So they're just getting the word out about it now. One of the things I see is it's a pretty high price point. €70 to get the base game, and they're not like giving you a lot of games like this will give you a free expansion as the Kickstarter exclusive or whatever. This one, it's all the expansions and material cost extra, and the shipping is another, like to the US is another €20, so that's going to add up pretty quickly. They do have access to a pledge manager, but if it doesn't fund, there'll be no pledge manager. So this is, Kickstarter with this all or nothing. I like the art style. I like the graphic design. The miniatures might not be that striking to people, but the components look good. I like the cards, the layout. I like the art style. The player hero boards look pretty cool. So this seems like an interesting, it's got a rule book that looks like it's probably gonna feed the single player campaign, but it's doing maybe these little numbered boxes like Gloomhaven. So you got story here you can read through. Then here's the thing, when you look at these little miniatures, these are probably pre-production miniatures, but these aren't the kind of miniatures that grab everybody's eye. They're like, oh, I need to have all of those, like a Cool Mini or Not does. This is interesting, the tile placement and the way that they do like the square, little-ish square tiles with grids on them. So it's not doing a hex, it's doing like a normal dungeon crawling, like D&D 1-inch squares for your characters. But looks like they're maximizing the space on those. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Tiny Epic Quest, where you've got the 4 spots to go to and interact with on one. So you're on your hero grid, you're going to do some tableau building. That's what it has here. I haven't gone too in-depth on this one. And there's some card drafting, but I wanted to point this one out as something to come look directly at. Again, it's called ThreeTale. Kind of sounds like a retail. There's a 24-hour reward. This caught my eye when I was looking at it. So it gives you a tutorial, and I haven't read if they're going to give this to everybody. They prepared a special bonus for our first backers. Now, this is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way, because a miniature, a tutorial, a whole little campaign segment just for backing in the first 24 hours, when you may not have even had the chance to hear about this one. The FOMO is too strong on this one. I think that this, not giving everybody this right here, is going to rub everybody the wrong way. Kind of bums me out. I mean, I don't have the funds to back this one, but that I would seriously have reservations about throwing down the money if you're not going to at least throw in that little tutorial, because What other Kickstarter exclusives are going to be? A paid expansion that's a Kickstarter exclusive? I get it. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. This stuff is not cheap to produce. This is hard to make. So I don't blame them for that, but I feel like you got to be giving everybody that little campaign piece, because what else are you giving people that really is going to incentivize them to jump on board here? So I think it's probably not going to fund. They can retool this, and if anybody from ThreeTale or what is this place called? Boarderia is watching this. Hey, how's it going? I suggest that little tutorial should go out to everybody. So let's check the comments. Well, no updates. FAQ. Let's go here real quick. Is it a 1 to 3 player game or a 3-player game? It's best played by 3 players. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't feel like that was what they were conveying when I was looking at it the first time. So we had some great feedback for solo play. We decided to include it as a player count. Okay, I was thinking this was more of a true solo where you can add 3 people, but it's kind of the opposite. This is a 3-player game that can be played solo. Okay. And then we've only got 64 comments, so there's just not a lot of engagement here. And then let's see, about an hour ago, question, our pledge doesn't state that it's the first 24 hours. Does that mean? That means it doesn't state that it contains a tutorial. How will you differentiate? Yeah. Okay, and then just nobody official is replying there. Okay, somebody asking a rules question, some rules questions. You probably plan to. If not, I suggest making a tutorial, a paid add-on after the first 24 hours. Here's somebody coming in the comments with a great alternative solution. I could be for that. You know, $5 more. Yeah, people want the tutorial. They're even recognizing that. Thank you. We will consider this and other options since a lot of people are interested in the tutorial. They're probably getting inundated with that. Like, hey, I want the tutorial. I'm sorry I missed your campaign for the first 24 hours. You either didn't do a good job marketing, or you probably didn't do a good job marketing. It's when you don't, a 24-hour thing I think is good if you already have a base. If you've already got a really big mailing list, or this isn't your first campaign. But to have a first 24-hour thing, this is anybody listening who might be thinking about doing a Kickstarter soon, unless you've really got your marketing dialed in, where you've got the email list, your Facebook ads are already firing, you're getting a lot of engagement here or on Board Game Geek, not here, but I mean like through emails or Facebook groups or whatnot. A 24-hour thing is, I think that made this one dead in the water, where it's got to be, you got to have that Kickstarter exclusive. You can't have the first 24. But I really like the look at this, so that's why I wanted to point out to you guys. Keep your eye on it. I think they're gonna retool. I think it's gonna not fund, which is fine. They've generated 455 people who are already backers, so will probably come along for the next one, and they'll get more people after that, and they can retool this to really make it work. So then the next one we got is, let's see if this pops up like I wanted to. There we go. So this was pointed out by somebody who gave me some feedback on the last video. I can look up his name, but Doomtown is an old CCG that, I mean, late 90s, early 2000s, was just a really cool CCG that I liked, and I didn't get to play it as much as I wanted to, but it definitely was a pretty good one, and had quite a bit of a following. you know, playing with. Actually, I'm not too sure what elements they had in it, but I remember the poker element a lot. Like all the cards had like numbers and suits on them and stuff. And so this one's coming back, and it says in here that it's got I thought it was right there, but it definitely has multiple player variants. There it is. We're excited to offer new co-op and solo modes in this Kickstarter. So Doomtown, the original, you were not able to play it. You were not able to play it solo. So I think that that's pretty cool, and might be worth getting. Now, I do believe that somewhere on here they did say that you might be able to use older cards too. Bonus digital perks. I wonder what they're trying to do with the digital stuff. So it looks like the base game to get into this is $60. You're gonna get a copy of the game, the base set, and entry level includes 2 times of each card is enough to build at least 3 playable decks. That's a lot. $20 a deck. So that's like a Magic the Gathering, the new Magic the Gathering Commander decks that they switched to that are about $20. So they've got a lot of videos on here. Here's a what's new. There's a what's new section. I'm not gonna try to read everything on here. But 260 cards for the price is kind of a lot. So that's not too bad. But yeah, I wanted to find who sent me this, but I'm not seeing where the comment was. So I'm gonna have to look that up. I wanted to write down their name. You know, you gotta give credit where credit is due, because I actually did not see this one when I was flipping through the ways that I normally find, the way I normally find Kickstarters. This one wasn't popping up for me, so I actually had to type it in and type in, you know, Doomtown. That's what got me to find it. So let me find this person real quick, because I think that they deserve it. And they're right here. So Thomas McArory. Yeah, he commented in one of the Facebook solo play groups. If you randomly find this video, because I am linking it to BG41 and the Solo Board Gamers group on Facebook. That's where I want to share these mostly. But if you find this somewhere else and you have Facebook but you're not in those groups, check them out. They're both really good. And so Doomtown, here's one that I would peruse through. This was mentioned. And you got a Doomtown Reloaded. You got to shut up and sit down review, which is good because, I mean, they're super entertaining. I like their channel a lot. So there's some videos on here that are good. The graphic design of the Kickstarter looks a little, it's not very impressive. It does go on and on and on and kind of has a lot of information, which is great. But I'm not really impressed with the layout. And I know that that's super nitpicky, but I mean, it's going to matter to some people. So it's 1 to 6 people, 30-minute games. It's already funded a lot. So it's definitely overfunded. It's about to hit 118,000 when it only needed 18. So, and that's only with 824 backers. So people are putting a lot of money into this. I'm guessing that people want the extras for this game. So you want to get all the cards, you want to get whatever add-ons they're giving. So there's only a third of that amount for the base level, and another third of the backers for the 120 full playset. You had 143 at the $175 mark. So that's a lot of people, of the pool of people backing, going in for a very high dollar amount. And wow. Somebody went in, nope, 10 backers went for the $1,000. Wow. That's a lot. Another backer for another $1,000 level, 2 backers at $750, 35 backers at $500, 63 people at $300. Excuse me, doing this late at night. What can I do? So I want to move on to, so this is my Kickstarter section. This is the only two things that really popped up as, so what I'm doing here, trying to make this video for getting through all of the 3D printed. There's a lot of 3D printed files. There's a lot of 5th edition. There's a lot of role-playing stuff to sift through on Kickstarter. So click the links below, take you right to these campaigns. There's not much else going on there. Like I said, for this week and the next couple weeks, look at my first video. There I kind of shot off a lot more of the names of the stuff that you can search for. Some of it's ended already, but some of it will go into pledge managers, and that'll give you until I'm fully caught up with all the new stuff coming out. The other thing is it's going to be a little slow going into the holidays. Usually people try to do a lot of Kickstarters in September and October, and then they'll like really shut down for like December and January, very slow. People try to come firing out of the gate in January, but you got people just spending all their Christmas money. So a lot of them, I think there's a higher fail rate there. I'd have to look at that, and I'll probably bring in some analytics in this videos too in the future. And but February and spring, February rolling into spring, there'll be a lot more Kickstarters. But I'm going to bring you everything each week that pops up, because there will be stuff, whether it's going to fund or not. We're going to take a look at, kind of try to look at everything that's soloable, because you never know, some of the ones that don't fund might come back up some other way. So for my accessory on Kickstarter, I've got this DUltimate, a multifunction dice. So this dice replaces a complete tabletop set, and so it's one dice that I think can do a D4 all the way through a D20. So it's pretty cool. You gotta love everything that's going on here. I like this. I did not see. So one of them is €23. It's $28 US. That is a lot. I can't back for this one, but I wanted to put it on your radar because, how useful is this in like every game? And it's a big die. It's crushing probably a normal size polyhedral set there. So yeah, you're going to get good value for your money. I mean, it's super cool. Maybe when they can get their economies of scale up and they can bring the price down a little bit, and maybe if they have a US distributor, it'd be something I definitely want to pick up down the line. So it just funded. It's got, I think it's only been up for 2 days. It's got, it's $1,000 overfunded at 34,000, 561 backers, 28 days left. So this might actually be an exciting Kickstarter to jump on. They're out of Amsterdam. Only 51 comments. They've got 10 FAQ questions on there to ask, and they've got one update already. Probably a, yay, we're funded. I'm going to click the remind me on this one. And, this might be a good one to jump in and be part of the community on. It's always fun to get hyped about some of these. I like it. And then my Kickstarter specifically honorable mention that's not for single player only. Stick around, because you'll notice this video is a lot longer, and we're going to go into something else right after this, a lot more single player stuff. But this is me leaving Kickstarter specifically on this. So this is called Tiny Library. It's a deck of 50 single card RPGs, and this is just so unique. It looks really cool. So all the different cards are going to be doing a lot of different things, and different artists are jumping in on this. Art elements, RPG elements. I think there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts on this one, and it is pretty cool. So you can even get it digitally for 7 Australian, which would be 6 US. So you can get Tiny Library. It's like a deck of cards for $11, shipped anywhere in the world. I'm probably gonna back this before it's over, whether I get the digital or thing. It's just a small little item. That's pretty cool. And then just the only other option is to buy 10 copies of it. So yeah, so this can spice up, you know, your RPG group. Maybe you're playing some kind of single player RPG that, you know, like story dice. You roll them and it's supposed to inspire something. Maybe you're playing something and this can add a little, you can flip through it and you're like, oh, I'm going to add this element to, you know, role playing in some game, Gloomhaven, whatever, like just a role play aspect that you're just playing with mentally to maybe immerse your other game in. So I thought this one was worth mentioning. So this is my honorable mention that's not specifically single player. It's almost, you know, 10 times overfunded, 1,300 backers, 12 days left, so there's plenty of time, and I'm probably going to come back and back this one. So now what I want to do is I'm going to be leaving Kickstarter and I'm going over to GameFound. And this is an interesting site. It's really picking up steam. So the first one I have here is Mythic Mischief. It is still funding. So I believe GameFound also functions for Kickstarters as a place to do, I'm going to agree to cookies. I've been cookied. They'll run the pledge managers for for some Kickstarters too. So that was a really smart way for them to build their business. And so you've got people already creating accounts, and then you can send them, you know, emails and, hey, we're going to fund our own thing over here. You've already used your credit card with us. You've probably already had Kickstarters deliver. Why not check out what we have to offer? And there's some things they can do to lure people over. Now, something that they do that is better than Kickstarter is on the left here, they've got a legend, kind of like just like like the front of a book, where you've got all these headers you can just click on and you go right to the section. So you got upcoming live streams, what makes a difference about this, the rewards section, click on add-ons. I want to jump straight to stretch goals. Click on it. You're straight to stretch goals. They do the stretch goals in an interesting way where they'll show you how many there are, which ones are unlocked. So I feel like it kind of locks you into the formatting of how they do it with these little cards. The thing about Kickstarter is nice is you're adding all the elements yourself. So within the Kickstarter parameters, you can create, you know, all of the infographics that you want, and they do that here too. It looks like you can add it, but you know, when you jump to a specific spot, you're gonna jump straight to, you know, whatever. But they do a good job here with, it looks like a store. You know, add this to the pledge. You've got the picture, which is cool. I really like that the pictures are there and involved. So Mythic Mischief is, I think it just ended. Or it just began. But it's 400% funded. So it's already at over $200,000. They're going to be piling into the stretch goals. So I think it actually just probably went live today. But I've been seeing a lot of ads for this one in my feeds, so I thought it was already out, but it's not. So it's going, this one is going really well. Their first stretch goal isn't even until 300,000, so wow. Good for them. So it's 1 to 4 players, 60 minutes, age 14 plus, and then you got these genre tags here, which are really cool for GameFound, which is fantasy, strategy, war game, and solo. So there's a solo tag, but you can't click on it. It's like, that's what I wanted in Kickstarter. It's like, tag it as solo. Let me click on the solo hyperlink and take me to all the solo games. So I'm still learning about how to navigate this one. There's so many games on here, and it's just games. So it's really cool. So as I dig into GameFound, I'll help walk you through what I learned here too. And if you already are an expert on here and know how to find something or search or do some kind of tip, mention in the comments below, and I'll mention you and your tip in the next video. So I like the way that this one looked. And now my pronunciation skills are going to go out the window. So this one is Lands of Galzyr. And so story-driven adventure, open world. And so if you're on GameFound, you're going to find a solo game every second or third game is going to have some kind of solo. So if I stick with these, I'll probably dive into them a little more and maybe sift through the ones that might be better or not. Now, I included this one. It's about to end, and it'll probably be over by the time you see it on this video. But almost everything on here goes into a pledge manager. And so sometimes they'll turn off certain things that you can get with the pledge manager, just like on the early one we looked at where you got the 24-hour, tutorial campaign thing. I'm going to try to dig into which ones of these do that. And it'll say who can back in the pledge manager, and sometimes it says like everyone can. So most of them seem very friendly in that way. So this thing is funded. It's over 2,000 backers, over $200,000, or over 200,000 euro, which is a lot more in dollars. So I say come back, check this one out, and it's a lot of components on this one, and it's not cheap. It's the deluxe edition is 130 euro, so for like 150, 170 normal US dollars or normal, no, yeah, like 150, 170 US dollars, so 130 euro. But it's pretty cool looking. I like the components. I like the art style. Custom dice, always great. I like the iconography on those, so that's good. And then this one is kind of a heavy-hitting staple of solo board gaming, is Robinson Crusoe collector's edition. I figured it was worth mentioning this because if you aren't already a backer, this one is in the pledge manager. And so if we click view the original, 17,000 people. So you've probably already seen this or you're aware of it, but if you're not, here it is. You can still pledge. And so it's over 2.2 million euro. And this is one of the granddaddy games. Hardest games to beat. An infamous solo game. So yeah, there's Robinson Crusoe. And there's plenty more for you guys to find information out about that one pretty much everywhere. Now, this is one that I ended up backing. ISS Vanguard. This just looks so cool. And they almost had 30,000 backers, so you're probably aware of this one. Almost $5 million raised. 1 to 4, touted as being very good for solo. So it's exploration, sci-fi, dice adventure, deck building, and solo. And you get a lot of bang for your buck on this one. Whether you go in at the low $99 pledge, or this one they're pushing the Commander's pledge for $179. You get the whole, there's like a whole bonus box here of all the stretch goals. So you get a lot of stuff, a lot of bang for your buck on this one. These little player tableaus kind of remind me a little bit of Role Player. So I haven't dug into what exactly this one's all about, but everything about it that they advertised for it looked really good. So they also have this special thing called Sundrop, which seems to be like a special way of like staining the miniatures that just has them a little, it seems to add an effect to them. And I wonder about that effect, because how does that translate to whether you want to paint them or not? Like if you paint over this Sundrop effect, does it totally like override it? So maybe that's only for people who aren't going to paint them, like me. These are cool. They've made little miniature pets. So, and they just look like dice holders. So that's kind of cool. And then you can get, I like this too, where they add where you can get like the sleeves, so you can fully sleeve your game. But it's expensive. It's almost as much as the game. $65 just for the full sleeving kit. Sleeves add a whole nother element to all of our hobby, which is nuts. So the next one I found there is Peak Oil. This was originally a Kickstarter and then found its way over here. It looks like the pledge manager for this one is closing sometime in September, but I don't know when. So if you want to get in on this one, it's in euros as well. So base game, €33. And I don't know what this bigger box is. Looks like there's a little expansion. I like the art style. Kind of retro. Kind of like a 60s mod kind of vibe. It's pretty cool. So check that one out before it closes. This one is interesting. This is an old school Kickstarter from I think Van Ryder Games. They yeah, Van Ryder. These are graphic novels that you play along. So this is a true solo, and it's more like this is functioning more as a store almost. Then you click on your pet pledge, it'll take you where to add the items, and when I was looking at this earlier, so you can get the different seasons. So you can get the entire collection, all 4 seasons and all of the bookmark sets for $275. And for me, I wouldn't want to read all these types, so I'm very interested in the Sherlock Holmes ones. So there's this one, that one. Every season seemed to have a Sherlock Holmes and an extra one. I really like the art style on these pirate ones. So, and $15 is pretty good for those. I noticed after the original ones came out, they were on Kickstarter, or they were on Amazon for like 20 bucks, and not very many to find on like eBay or other shops. And then I don't remember seeing these bookmarks available anywhere else. I wish you can kind of get like a bundle of a type, but I get how they print these all together, so they're not gonna redo all the files, send them all off for printing, just to get me all the Sherlock Holmes ones. Although, if you're listening to Van Ryder Games, I think you should do that. Because some people are going to want to read by type. So when I do eventually pick up one of these, I'm going to pick up one of the Sherlock Holmes ones. And then if I like the way it works, get all those. And maybe check out these pirate ones too. So that's Van Ryder Games' graphic novel adventures. So, like, kind of choose your own adventure, I'm guessing, but more in depth with the visuals of like a graphic novel. Moving right along. This one I found interesting because I like this. It was 2019 Solitaire Print and Play Contest. Best overall game. So it's a 1 to 4 player game, but it won a contest for its solitaire play. So you've got to be really curious about that. Now this to me looks like it's functioning kind of just like as a store, because there's almost nothing you can find on here for it. So it's just, you just click on the English edition and there it is. Very brief. Some playthrough videos. So that's, you know, head to the playthrough videos, because, you know, that's where I think most of us get our information. Is, you know, seeing somebody play it gives you more of a feel. So it looks like you get some good stuff for good bang for your buck here. A lot of tiles. You know, I think it's $24 plus shipping. So I do not know when this one closes. So not a lot of info here, but it's Mechanical Beast. Just one, not beasts, just beast. Then the next one I wanted to look at was Adele, a space horror board game. So on this one, it's already in the pledge manager, so it's not an up and running campaign, but for €42 you get a copy of the game and all the stretch goals. So this is a cool looking one that I think you should come and check out. Looks like they have some other games they've released that you can add on, so they've delivered before, which is nice. That's by DMZ Games. Just 3 more here, and then another honorable mention. That's actually a solo honorable mention, but it's not on one of these sites, so I want to point that out. So this one's called The Great Race. This one is also, all the rest of these are already in their pledge managers. So I believe they've already delivered The Great Race. You got The Great Race 1 and The Great Race 2 with expansions. So this one just kind of looked interesting. I don't know necessarily how the components are going to feel. This is like looks like a CGI mock-up. There's a lot of like, you're hiding your tableau from your the people you're playing with, so that makes me wonder about how it would work with a single player game, because usually if you have hidden information, that usually will make it a very interactive game just with other players. So I mean, when you're playing against an AI or an automata, they're, it's just going to do what it does. It doesn't care what you have most of the time. I mean, I guess it could ask you, if you have this, play that. Could happen that way. So this one is called The Four Humours. So you need to be a doctor in ancient times and deal with the four humors. Probably a lot of bloodletting in this game. So it's in its pledge manager, but you've got a deluxe Kickstarter edition for only $40, and I like the graphic design on this a lot. So it looks like an interesting game, and they've got this is Adam's Apple Games. They've got other things that you can add on, so they've already delivered games before. Oh, a roll and write. Let's check this out. We're doing this on the fly. Oh, I like the way that looks. So Truck Off, the Food Truck Frenzy roll and write. I'm gonna have to look into this game. Roll and writes are kind of what I'm playing a lot of right now. So that looks cool. All right, and then most people have heard of this game. It's called The Isle of Cats. I believe this is for expansions. because people are already out playing this one. 1 to 4 players, 6 players with an expansion. Looks like, you know, kind of like a Tetris tile laying game. So there is a solo game. As a solo game, the Isle of Cats is terrific. Trust them. They're not trying to sell you anything. It is really good, and you're not spending a lot of time administering the AI cards. It is puzzly, it makes you think, and it is just good fun. Okay, that's what Mike from the Dice Tower says. So, okay, you know, some people like the crunchy administering, but I guess if you like a game called Isle of Cats, you're probably gonna want something a little more casual. Lots of different paths to go down with rewards on this one. So I believe it's in British pounds. So let's go over to the store and see what we can find. I guess I was already there. So there's a lot of veteran stuff. So you've already got the game, and you're just here for those extras. They do have an intro level new arrival starter kit for, looks like they're giving you a $50 discount. Maybe they're trying to compete with Amazon or stores right out of the gate. So this might be a really good deal. I don't know how much longer the Kickstarter, the Pledge Manager is going to be open, but for £90, it looks like you're going to get the game and 4 expansions. So I don't know how that stacks up for, again, I don't know how that's going to stack up against like the ones that are already available and already in distribution. So, all right, now the last one is a game I've really wanted, but it was out of stock, and now it's up for pre-order. So Spire's End, I think it's hard to get, and I think it's going for a lot on the secondary market. So if this one's been on your radar and you've forgotten about it, check out spiresend.com at the shop. You can pre-order the original game for $45. The Kickstarter just ended for the second version of the game, which is called Spire's End Hildegard, and that's for 1 to 2 players. And I believe the original Spire's End is single player only. Don't remember if this one can handle the 2-player aspect, but I believe that this is a true solo only, but tentatively delivering in December. That's not that far off. So limited 1 per order. Your order will be canceled if more is purchased. That's cool. So you're gonna get people ordering this who are just going to flip it anyways. But, you know, I think it's like $12 shipping, at least to me. So I really want to get this game, but I'm not pulling the trigger on it just because I can't afford it. But Spire's End should be on your radar for you to check out. So that wraps up all of the single player stuff for this week on, you know, focusing on Kickstarter, but I guess we're going to go with all crowdfunding and potential reorders or fulfillments of stuff that's been out there and hard to find, like how Deep Space D6 is on Kickstarter right now, or heading to Pledge Manager. I think it's already in the Pledge Manager. But yeah, if you missed last week's video and you're looking to pick that game up, go to see if that one is available again, because that's going to be another one where he's going to sell through those, and they're going to be hard to find, and then they're going to shoot back up to double MSRP. So that's it for this week. See you next week, and good luck with your games you're backing. All right.